Afternoon, Coach. Welcome back. We're joined at this time by University of Houston head coach Kelvin Sampson. Coach, how's your day going so far?
What time is it? I'm not sure what time is it.
1:44.
1:45. Yeah, just real proud of our guys from just being able to hang in there and wait for something good to happen. Sometimes if you keep playing and you get an opportunity, then you're in a position to do something with it. But if you don't have the right mindset or the right maturity, I think that's why coaches are constantly searching for some kind of advantage, either from the personnel you have on the floor, personnel they may have on the floor. Where do we have an advantage? We used Emmanuel Sharp last night in the pick and roll because we felt he had the best chance to get in the paint and get the ball in the rim. If we get the ball in the rim, we thought we could offensive rebound it. But it comes down to Roberts makes the 2 free throws. But our defense was really good there about the last 10 minutes or so. So I was proud of them for hanging in there. And, our lives are so consumed by our next game, your next game. And I'm glad last night was not our last game, that we do have a next game. And that's a good thing for this group because I've enjoyed coaching this team.
Coach, we'll start on the right side of the aisle with Joe.
Joseph Duarte, Houston Chronicle. Kelvin, as you savor the journey that you've been on, whether it's this year or the years that you've been here in Houston, what does a moment like last night when you walked into the team hotel mean? Just to see that crowd that maybe wasn't there, 7 or 8 years ago, or was just starting to build up to that?
I don't know. I'm not very good at that stuff. I'm sure somebody. That's something certainly to savor and enjoy, and it's indicative of our journey, our success. But my mind was focused on getting Kellen by himself and getting to a laptop and looking at Florida. I'm not very good at. My mother always used to tell me that I had to learn to smell the roses, and my mother passed away in 2014, and I never did learn.
Up front on the right side, Mike.
Mike LaPresti, NCAA.com. This falls into a little bit in that same category. And I know it's not big on your radar screen right now, but if you win, you'll be the oldest national championship coach ever. Does that mean anything to you? Would that mean anything to you, particularly at an age where, with modern basketball, there's some question about how long guys are going to stay in this profession?
It's probably a good question. When you're pressing 70, you look at things a lot differently. You're grown up now. You're 70. I spent a little time this morning with my grandkids. First time I went to the Final Four in 2002, my son was on the team, or he's on the bench with us. So over the years, things kind of come full circle in some ways. Last night I got so many texts from, I haven't returned any. There's too many to even look. I didn't even get through all of them, but I saw Tubby and Rick Barnes and Tom Izzo and Pop and bunch of the older coaches, and they all kind of had similar messages to me. You know, one for the old guys or something like that. You know, because we were all young at the same time, coming up, but you know, I haven't thought a lot about what's next. I think that would be, you know, I get so focused on the team and trying to figure out how to help them. But I know, you know, we've been working with the portal since we've been here. You know, I mean, there's some things going on that require our immediate attention. I remember when we were in the Final Four, and what was it, 21? That was COVID, right? That we spent half the day. I remember recruiting Josh Carlton, Kyler Edwards, and Jarris Walker. One of my assistants had me on the phone with those guys couple of times a day because we had nothing to do. I mean, they let us go out to the yard, which was Victory Park. You know, we had a football to throw around. You know, couldn't see our families because they had us in that quarantine thing. But, you know, I see all our kids now, and, you know, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for their families. They're creating memories that will last them forever. You know, and you know, I used to come to the tournament when I was a young coach, and I would sit in those stands and look at the two coaches in the championship game, and you know, you go, you know, you think you'd like to be there one day. You know, if you could ever get a chance, and so for me, it's a lot of gratitude, a lot of appreciation for having this opportunity, but you owe it to so many people. You don't do things like this in a vacuum. You know, I've got a great team, got a great staff. I'm able to work independent of everything, and I run the program without any resistance. I make all the decisions. I do everything on my own. So, with my staff, of course. So, we've kind of done it our way, and it's worked out pretty good.
We'll go to 40, second row.
Kelvin, Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. When you're in that situation last night, you're down 14 or you're down 9 less, how much does being in your 36th year and having seen just about anything you can see in a game help you get them through it?
Yeah, so my biggest decision was when they were up 6, and I kept churning about fouling. And I said, no, we're not going to foul. Because whatever shot they get, I just thought that we were going to contest it. It come down to whether we get a rebound. And I was so proud of JoJo because we worked so hard on staying down on shot fakes. You know, my rule's always been be the second guy off the floor. Don't be the first guy, be the second guy off the floor. So when Kneppel drove in there, shot faked, JoJo didn't flinch. Had he shot faked the second time, would have probably been screwed. But when Kneppel got to the rim, when he shot faked once, he went up. I knew he wasn't going to get it to the rim. JoJo was going to block it. And so then we come down and bang a 3. So instead of taking the risk of fouling them, and they go up 8. And if you look at all their free throw percentage, they were all high percentage free throw shooters. The one, if I was going to foul somebody, probably would have been Proctor. And he wound up missing one. But on that particular, that was really the biggest decision, is not to foul then. As I'm sure most people say, why don't you foul? We're only down 2 possessions. If we can get a miss and a rebound, we've got the ball down 2 possessions. If you foul them and they make both free throws, you're down 3 possessions with the ball. Then the game is, you have to think the game entirely different. The climb becomes a little steeper. But yeah, you've been in those situations so many times. It doesn't always work out. You know, JoJo goes for the shot fake and draws a foul. We're down 9. you know, and all of a sudden I'm the dumbest guy ever. So I get all that.
Same area on the aisle.
Brett Friedlander, Saturday Down South. Kelvin, could you reflect a little on the journey from Robeson County to the cusp of a national championship? And have you given any thought as to what your success means to the folks back in Pembroke and specifically Lumbee?
What's your name?
Brett Friedlander?
From Fayetteville.
Yeah.
What's up, Brett?
We go a long way back.
Yeah, it's right down the road. So most of the girls in my senior class would go to Fayetteville on the weekends because that's where Fort Bragg was. Yes, I'm gonna leave that there. But not all of them. I mean, I married a girl from my high school senior class. She didn't go. I better get off the subject.
Good idea.
Yeah. You know, it's hard for me to think about the journey without thinking my mother and father. You know, those were. My mother was a nurse. She worked 12-hour shifts, and her shift was either 8 to 8 or 7 to 7. My dad was a high school basketball coach in a little country community at Magnolia High School. I'm not even sure if I would know how to get to that. But, you know, I had a twin sister, younger sister, and older sister. My twin sister passed away a couple years. Ago, so. But no, I always think of that. You know, I have a lot of friends back there. Some of them are actually here right now. I haven't seen them. My wife Karen, she does a good job of running interference on stuff like that. But you know, coming from a small town where you had to kind of outwork everybody was perfect for me. Because I didn't get to be an assistant coach for somebody and learn as much as some of these other guys do. You know, if you look at John, his path versus my path, or Todd's path versus my path. The two people that helped me the most was my father and Judd Heathcote. You know, and those guys were just old school, discipline, do things the right way, coach them up, and go and play ball. That's kind of what I was raised with. But just proud of where I'm from, though. I know there's a lot of stuff going on back there politically that I stay in touch with them about. Karen is on the board of trustees for the university that we graduated from, so really proud of her for her contributions there. The chancellor at university actually graduated in our high school class. He graduated from Duke's Medical School as a cardiac surgeon and had some health issues, and now I don't know how he became the chancellor at the university. But a lot of good friends. I don't get back much. I'm not sure when last time I've been to Pembroke, but I know I have a lot of support there, and there's a lot of people there I still care about and love.
Just to the left of the aisle.
Hey, Calvin, Brendan Marks from The Athletic. LJ was sensational last night. When you think back on your recruitment of him, what stands out most about what you were interested in, and what are the ways you've seen him grow the most since you've had him?
Yeah, we recruited LJ out of high school. He's from Katy, which is about 25 minutes up the road. His brother plays linebacker for Florida State. I think he was at the game last night. They had spring football workouts, and they let him come to his game last night. LJ was a bucket getter in high school. He'd get buckets. You know, little guys like LJ know how to be really good at being a good little guy. You know, I've always been I don't know how I would describe. People that don't play this game a lot focus on things that's really not that important, like height, how tall someone is. I've never, like in our league, everybody's taller than us. So everybody was saying, here's how tall Duke is. Well, you ever seen BYU's team? BYU's point guard 6'9", man. Their two guards 6'5", or they're 6'9", 6'5", 6'9", 6'7". Everybody's tall. Central Florida is much taller than we were. But what's that got to do with anything? At some point, if you can score, you can score. The little guys know how to score on big guys. Big guys don't always know how to score on little guys. Because the little guys they get help with a double team, so you can make it even. Marcus Sasser was 6'1". I think he scored 1,500, 1,600 points, and I'm pretty sure most of the guys that guard him were 6'5". There's a lot of really good 6'5" defenders in the Big 12. That LJ gets 20 on them too. We played against Sion James. He was at Tulane for 3 or 4 years. I don't remember. I think we played against him for 3 years. So we had scored on him before. Kneppel, Cooper Flagg. That's the first time I'd seen Cooper Flagg play a lot on the recruiting circles. I saw him play against the Boozer kid that's going to Duke in the NBA Top 100 camp a lot. But he's as good as advertised. He's really good. But JoJo, J1, JVR, I thought did a great job last night on the boards. But our best player, the guy that kept us in the game, was LJ. He kept us in touch with them. So when the time came, we had an opportunity to get the lead down where we could put some game pressure on him. LJ was the guy.
Same area, USA Today.
Kelvin, Zach Osterman, USA Today. I wanted to ask about JoJo. I read last night that you guys recruited him. I think you committed him in the spring before his senior year. You said once he signed that you knew he was going to blow up in the summer. You wanted to kind of get him in the fold as quickly as you could. What did you see in him, even at a young age, when you were scouting him, when you were recruiting him, that made you think there's such a ceiling here for this guy?
Yeah, so one of the first things we do when we bring a kid on campus is we measure their wingspan because of how we play pick and roll defense. There's a lot of 7-foot kids that are very lumbering. They have a hard time moving. Those kids would not function well in the way we play defense. JoJo had good feet. He had great length. JVR 7'5". JoJo's 6'7", 6.5". On our wingspan wall, we have Akeem Olajuwon's wingspan. We also measured JoJo's mother's wingspan. She was 6'7". She played college ball. He has twin sisters that played at Louisiana Monroe. One of his twin sisters has a PhD. But JoJo was I've had some really good second and third jump guys. When I watched JoJo play before we recruited him, his second jump is the best of, and this includes the NBA. I've never had a kid's second jump like him. His third jump's as good as most people's first. He just has that ability, and he's got impeccable timing in blocking shots. He was named the Lefter Dressel Defensive Player of the Year. He was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Has the Naismith Awards came out yet? Who got the Defensive Player? Who? Yeah, well, he's worthy. He was good too. But JoJo would have been a worthy one as well. He's a Defensive Player of the Year type guy. I think his offense is really coming along. He played well. I think he had 10 or 11 points against Gonzaga. Certain games he played well in this year and scored. Now, next season, he'll take a big jump because we'll spend the offseason helping him get there. But he is a unique player. Normally, when a kid gets a technical foul, I take him out. When JoJo reached across that line and slapped that ball last night, I'm sure most people were appalled or amazed or surprised. I just rolled my eyes. JoJo. If anybody's ever going to do that, it's JoJo. We had a 14-point lead against Gonzaga, and we had the ball. Off the ball for no reason, JoJo just kind of bumps this guy. Of course, they go to the monitor. You go to the monitor, it's never a good thing. They go to that monitor, they're going to find what they're looking for. And so they gave him a flagrant one. They made the 2 free throws. One of the Gonzaga kids nailed a 3, so instead of having the ball up 60-46, we had the ball up 60-51. And then it was a ball game. So around our program, if I say, as JoJo being JoJo, everybody would understand.
Want to thank Coach Sampson for joining us here in the main interview room. That's all the time we have for right now. We'll be joined by L.J. Cryer and Jawan Roberts in just a moment. Then student-athlete breakouts to follow. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Coach. This is a 10-minute session that's quickly turning into a 7 or 6-minute session, but all the student athletes will be available in breakouts after this. And by all, I mean 5.
Bro, ain't no way.
We're joined by LJ Cryer and Juwan Roberts. We're looking for questions for them. Cameras are right up front. Raise your hand if you have a question. Let's go to the center. Front left microphone. Your name and media outlet, then your question.
Kenneth Bowman, Coop TV, LJ, Juwan. Obviously, you guys want to win every game, but what did it mean to you guys personally to extend your season as you guys' college career is coming to the end?
LJ first, then Juwan.
You know, we just wanted to keep this thing going as long as possible. You know, everything comes to an end, but why not go out there and try to get to the last game? So it definitely means a lot to be able to continue putting this jersey on and playing with our brothers. So, you know, I'm enjoying it and just living in the moment.
Juwan.
Basically, what he said, you know, having an opportunity to wear this jersey one more time, you know, having one more film session, one more team meal, one more bus ride. And I feel like us getting to the last game, you know, we might as well just go out on a good note.
We'll take two in the back and on the left, starting with 40.
J1's Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. I'm just wondering if you could describe or characterize your relationship with Coach Sampson.
I mean, it's too much to say, but I think I first saw Coach in AAU basketball, and I think he told Coach Kelvin, you know, that he liked me and he wanted me to be a Cougar. So from that day, you know, he kind of, you know, kept me under his wing as much as possible, you know, until I committed. And for these 6 years that I've known Coach Sampson, you know, I can honestly say he's like a second father to me, especially on and off the court. You know, he makes sure I'm good. Randomly calls me, randomly texts me, tells me he loves me. And when you come across people like that, you know, you got to keep them with you know, for a long time. And I feel like in the next 5-10 years, you know, Coach Sampson will be a person I can call. You know, hopefully in the future when I have my kids, you know, we can all sit down and, you know, have a great conversation about what we've been through.
We're going to go one row back there.
Hey, LJ. Brennan Quinn from The Athletic. You know, everyone has the same dream, right, growing up, and you're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2. It's the Final Four, and the game's on the line. If that moment arises, whose number are you calling, and what shot do you want to get?
I mean, that's up to Coach on who number he calls. But, you know, if it's up to me, I'm going to call mine. But, and the shot, it's whatever the defense gives you. I don't feel like I go out there and try to predetermine anything. Just go out there and read my defender and take what he give me. So that's just my mindset.
You want to take that too, Juwan? Or
I'm
just
good.
okay?
Yeah.
We're not touching that one.
I mean, I was going to get a ball to LJ regardless.
That's a great answer. It's two great answers in a row, Juwan. Mid-major.
Bro.
Isaac Bourne, Mid-Major Madness. For either of you guys or both, going into the game tomorrow, Coach Sampson last night talked about unscripted points and how you guys got a lot yesterday. So tomorrow, what is the focus on how to get more points when it comes into your offense and how you run it?
LJ.
You can ask that again.
Coach talks about how you guys create opportunities on offense. He wants to know how you're going to score more within the offense and within the game plan.
I'll start.
Please.
Start. Going into games, you know we're not a first shot team. You know, when LJ had, how much you had last night? 26?
I think, yeah.
Some games he'll have 26, some games he have 30, some games he have 10. You know, we don't go into games thinking he's about to have this amount of points, or sometimes guys have bad shooting nights. So I feel like we have to find different ways to impact winning and find ways to get second shots when the first shots ain't falling. So I feel like when you get offensive rebounds, second chance points, points off turnovers, I feel like that can get you back in the flow of the game if you're having a bad shooting night. So when we approach certain games, I mean, we know we're not a first shot team. So I think that's why we crash the board so hard and trying to get second and third shots.
We'll go to the back of the room and the center.
LJ, Christina Huang, San Antonio Express News. I know you were part of the team at Baylor that won a national championship, and I know you were a freshman. It was the COVID tournament, but is there anything from that experience that you are taking with you into tomorrow's game?
No, not really. Obviously, with it being a different, me having a different role on that team, it's hard to take that because I kind of had to sit back and watch. But I did get to sit there and see what it takes to win those type of games. So as far as that, I feel like that's all I'm taking with me. Just the leadership and how to go about winning those type of games.
Likely our final question on the right side toward the back.
Hi, right here. Greg Eklund, and this is for NPR. Akeem was at the game last night, and I'm wondering, can each of you guys tell me how much interaction have you had with him? And Coach said a short time ago that his wingspan is posted somewhere in your locker room area. What's it mean for you guys to be in a title game for the first time since Akeem was playing at Houston?
LJ first.
I mean, it means a lot. And, you know, I haven't had too much interaction with him. I only been here 2 years, so I've seen him a few times. But, you know, I'm sure he poured his heart and soul into this program, and just like a lot of the guys who came before us. So, you know, we standing on those guys' shoulders, everyone who came before us, and it'll mean a lot to be able to get this done, not only for us, but for them.
Juwan, anything to add there?
Yeah, we've had a couple talks, especially, you know, knowing that he was a great post player. So he would give me certain tips or certain things to do, how to attack certain defenses, and you know, offensive moves and stuff like that. But us getting back to the Final Four and now playing for the national championship, you can see, you know, on their face that they're especially happy knowing that they went to University of Houston, and for us to be, you know, back at the top from where they was at too. So I just feel like they're proud of us, you know, all the accomplishments that we've had, especially with Coach Sampson too, as much as he put into us and all the hard work and long days that he's, you know, try to get us to be our best. And, you know, now we're showing it on a national level. So I feel like everything that Coach Sampson has built here goes way back to, you know, with Hakeem too. But us being who we are now, I feel like it just means a lot to everybody.
And I think we're going to see Clyde Drexler tomorrow also, probably some others.
We Clyde, eh?
We want to thank LJ. We want to thank Juwan. They're going to head across the hall with their teammates into the breakout areas. That's a 25-minute session. You guys enjoy.